Horrid Henry was one of the most loved British TV shows of all time, spanning over 5 seasons with over 247 incredible episodes. However, 3 in particular were absolutely terrible, so today we'll break down exactly why they were so bad. Starting with the first episode titled Double Trouble that has a rating of 4.2 stars. The episode starts with Henry talking about how he wishes he had a twin so that he could be extra horrid. As his mom wakes him up for school, he rises out of bed, but there's another version of him still asleep. Peter then walks in the room and is visibly confused.
Mom says it's time to wake up, Henry, or no... Oh, you're not Henry.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
The clone calls himself Henry's double. Henry wakes up and is clueless as to what is happening, and when he wakes up, the clone and him meet each other. Henry's mom then yells at the clone because he broke a dish. He runs back upstairs and starts telling Henry and Peter about the horrid stuff he has already started doing as a clone. Peter starts complaining that he doesn't have a clone of himself, and as you can guess, a new perfect Peter comes out of his room. Henry then starts teaching clone Henry how to be horrid, but there's a problem. Henry and Peter's clones want to be better than their original selves, with Henry's counterpart trying to be more horrid and Peter's is trying to be more perfect. Henry and Peter decide that since their clones are already in school, they have to just go back home and deal with their mom. The screen then cuts to Henry's clone and Moody Margaret having a slime fight, causing a huge mess around the playground. Henry and Peter wake up the next day for school, but their clones are nowhere to be found, so they take it as it was just a dream, until we find out that this isn't the case and the entire playground is destroyed, causing a day to remember for the school administrators. And that's where the episode ends. This episode could have been a great idea, but it was executed really poorly. The episode could have had Peter and Henry try to get rid of their clones, but instead they just disappear and end the episode with the casual "it was all just a dream." They could have also had clone Henry run around and pull pranks on everybody, getting Henry in trouble, but due to the bad execution of this idea, it is one of the worst rated episodes in the show's history, but the next one gets worse. Good Day Bad Day is the second worst rated episode in the show's history, coming at a terrible 3.9 stars. The episode starts off with Peter yapping about his favorite show, The Number Gnomes. Henry's dad then tells Henry to stop being horrid as usual just for giving his opinion, and as Henry goes to put his dish in the sink, his dad tells him once again, already putting the episode at an annoying start. Henry's mom comes in the room and then shows him the Good Day Bad Day chart. She gives Henry 1 green mark for putting his dishes away and then explains what the chart's purpose is. She explains it as a way for Henry's and Peter's parents to keep track of their behavior.
What's it for? It's so Dad and I can keep track of how you're doing. Each time you do something selfish or horrid, you get a red square, but if you do something nice and think of others, you get a green square.
Ooh, that's clever, Mom.
Isn't it, honey bundle? So that means green is a good day and red is a bad day.
Peter, after hearing about this, decides to sabotage Henry by snitching that he said the number gnomes were boring. Later, Henry calls Peter a worm for scaring the cat, Fluffy, causing him to receive a red mark, and Henry starts explaining that it isn't fair because Peter has had selfless thoughts so far, such as telling his friend Goody Two-Shoes Steve that loves peas that they weren't good for him. Due to this, Peter gives himself a red mark. Henry's dad comes home with a surprise for Henry, tickets for their favorite movie's premiere, and as they are both excited to go, Henry's mom comes in and says that since Henry has a lot of red marks, he isn't allowed to go, and to make up for the fact that they both want to go, Henry's mom makes the exception that Henry has to have a really good day to be able to go to the premiere. Due to this, Henry makes it his goal to be as good as possible. He tries helping Peter put the toilet paper rolls away, but accidentally startles him, causing Peter to drop them. Henry then picks him up and puts him in the bathroom, helping him get another green mark. Later, we find out that Henry has already done all of his chores, but Peter finds a sock in the hamper, trying to get him in trouble with Mom. Henry starts doing all of his chores and the chart gets filled up, but because of this, they start fighting to do anything they can for a good mark. He proceeds to not be horrid, allowing Fluffy to go into the house, dumping out the trash, and even cleaning the kitchen. Peter then decides to just give up and read his comics. Once Henry goes to the kitchen though, we find out that Peter has outsmarted Henry by telling his mom he let Henry do all of his chores so that he could have a very good day. This allows Peter to get the last screen check mark, allowing him to win. Henry's mom then decides to give away the tickets that Henry and his dad worked so hard for, even though Henry had a good day.
And you know how much Steve loves that terrible program. So I thought we could do a bit of thinking of others.
No! Oh no!
This episode, in my opinion, wasn't worth a terrible rating. It had a good plot and storyline and showed Henry getting along with his dad and even had an unexpected plot twist at the end. But before we get to the worst rated episode of Horrid Henry, let's talk about one of the most hated ones. Phantom Phone is one of the most hated episodes. The episode starts with Rude Ralph eating a cell phone and him and Henry playing a video game on it. Once they go into class, Henry and Moody Margaret start arguing, and then Miss Battlelax comes into the class and everyone falls asleep until the bell rings, causing them to rush out of class. Everyone is excited about Ralph's phone, and Henry is super good at the game, but Margaret thinks Henry wants her in his contacts. Margaret tries figuring out what Henry's doing on his phone, causing him to run around and destroy the classroom. Due to this, Henry gets attention, and Margaret finds out that he didn't want her in contact and was just watching Gross Class 0. She's called with her phone by Miss Battlelax and gets sent to detention. In the office, Henry's still playing on his phone. Once the principal calls them in, the principal takes their phones and they start arguing because Henry doesn't want Margaret's contact in his phone.
Oswald,
Who won't what, Margaret?
add me to his contacts.
His contacts.
On his phone, he won't add me.
The principal takes their phones, but Henry's phone was actually Ralph's phone. Once they leave school, Ralph asks for his phone back, and Henry says he'll give it to him tomorrow since he wants to beat the level. Henry brings in Peter's toy phone, and as Margaret tries exposing him, he runs to the principal's office and he steals Ralph's phone back and exchanges it for Peter's. This episode is bad because the story and plot just don't make sense and they are pointless, and all it's just a bad idea, but it isn't the same for the worst rated episode of the entire show. Vile Vacation has the lowest rating of 3.2 stars. The episode starts with Henry being eager to go to school. This causes his mom to wonder if he's feeling okay, and he's actually feeling great because it is the last day of school.
Alright too? Well, the answer's yes, because today is the last day of term, which means no more school for weeks and weeks and weeks.
And he's ready for summer vacation. He walks into school with Ralph and they are both excited for the end of the term. Henry almost gets attention for no reason, and like usual, Miss Oddball takes Henry's side, allowing him to avoid the detention. Once they get to the cafeteria, they even get extra fries. We then find out Henry's mom has a big vacation planned for the family that he cannot wait for. As Henry looks around, even the teachers, including Miss Battlelax, are excited for the vacation. Henry starts thinking about the possibilities for this end of year trip. He dreams about getting as far away from the school as possible. The family sits all together once they get home and discuss the trip. But instead of something amazing like Henry had hoped for, they found out that since Moody Margaret is going on vacation, they're going to be staying at her house just across the street. Henry is bummed about it all, while Peter, Mom, and Dad are excited, and they call him Horrid for just expressing boredom. Henry is happy that he can come back if he forgets anything, and he can also bring his hamster, Fang. Henry even grabs hidden candy for him and Fang, but it starts raining, so they have to quickly unpack everything once they get to Margaret's house. The whole family is making their plans of what to do in the house, and Henry is already sad about the vacation, but it gets worse when he finds about the rules of the house, such as no paintings, no animals that aren't fluffy, and so much more stuff, including that he has to stay in his arch nemesis, Moody Margaret's room. Since Fang is left at home, Henry can't feed him, and Fang is left with foods that he doesn't like, such as carrots and strawberries. But since Henry's dad signed a contract, they can't leave the house for 2 weeks. Henry is bummed, but whenever he goes to Margaret's room, he sees a sign that says, "Do not pull the rope," and since it's Henry, he decides to pull the rope, causing rockets to go off inside of the whole house. As viewers think Henry's gonna get scolded, we find out that the contract had a detail that covered the insurance if anything went wrong. This allows Henry's parents to rent a limo and go on the vacation Henry dreamed for, until he finds out that they are staying at the same resort as Margaret.